Thursday the 25th of January. I'm going to do a different shave today. I've got something freaky to show you. How about that? I've just honed, restored and polished and stropped this beautiful little Puma Stylist. Now it's actually etched and it's got on there, on the blade, it's actually got a British patent number. So if anybody wanted to look it up, you would find it under British patents. But here's the freaky thing. When it's closed, it clicks. It clicks in that position because it's then a hair trimmer. So let's have a go. Well, well, well. That's strange, isn't it? Oh yeah, it's cutting too. Can you hear that? Yeah, that is definitely cutting. So we have a hair trimmer and a razor all in one. That's amazing. It opens up with a slight pop and closes with a slight pop. Anyway, I'm going to get on with this, give it a shave test along with a couple of others. May I just make a call out to a couple of buddies, one being Ionis. Now, Ionis is the engineering officer on board a super tanker. And he had the incredible skill to actually manufacture his own razor from a broken valve of a super tanker. We all know valve steel would be very, very hard. So anybody that can work that knows what they're doing. But then he's an engineering officer. I'm using up the very last of Jeff Smith's kind gift, which is a sample. And hopefully all will go well. I'd also like to make another little call out to Matthew up in Stirling in Scotland. Now he had a wonderful razor with a very unusual history. The history being it's one of the very last, and I do mean the very last, of the Filly13s. It's a Filly Sello Oro for peace. Now I hear from Matthew that it was a gift from his barber friend in Spain, where of course Philharmonica originates from, back in 1984, and that's when the factory was actually finished. They, the poor old Signor Powell, the founder, had died. His son and daughter took over for a short while, but I don't think it was terribly successful. So the very last of the wonderful Philharmonicas often have purely a beautiful etched panel, which this one has, absolutely beautiful. But they don't have the full address because obviously they'd gone bust. And poor old Signor Powell was brown bread, was dead. So anyway, I'm looking forward to testing these two razors, and I've got one other surprise as well. So anyway, I have brought back from a very damaged edge. Sorry Matthew, it really was. I brought that back to life. I spent all morning on a 3K stone, working it down to a fabulous edge. It's now a hyper polished 20K edge, and we'll give that a test. The other thing I was going to mention is when it comes to stropping, that's a good way of evaluating not just the edge, but the steel. And on the little Puma, which was obviously not a serious high-end razor, it was a trimmer, a trimming tool. But anyway, that one took a little bit more stropping. All I would say is, although it took a little tiny bit more stropping, it hanging hair tests now both ends of the hair. So here it is. It's proven that it can and does trim hair. Let's see if it can shave. Let's have a little go. Yep. No problem. It's a very small blade. I'd say it's about a 4/8, but on a 20K edge. That's very, very, very good. Yeah. Quality Puma steel. Doesn't matter what size the blade is. If the steel is a little bit doubtful, you ain't going to get a very good shave. But that's fine. There's a very nice edge actually. Yep, no problem at all. So that's one side of face done with one pass. Let's just inspect the horrible result. Yeah. Yeah, it's not bad at all actually. That's all the whiskers smoothed off on that side. Now, let's try a big boy. This is a full, very full 6/8, and Philharmonica, although it hasn't got, as you can see, it has no address on it, but it does have the beautiful gold panel. It has the proper Philharmonica scales. I would say, judging by how I honed it and the feel of the steel, it's absolutely first-rate quality. So there's a lot of myths about the late Philharmonicas, and they are myths. But anyway, let's just prove it. Wow. Listen to that. That seems to be cutting quite nicely, thank you. I would say it's slightly draggy, very slightly draggy, which is astonishing, seeing as it's on a 20k edge, the same as the little Puma. Yeah, that's dragging, very slightly. So maybe there's something in the myths about the late Pumas. Obviously, this is only its first outing. What I might well do, as you can see, taking the stubble, but I think what I might do is put it onto a kinder edge. Yeah, 20k it doesn't like. No, doesn't like it. No, that's actually dragging badly, and yet the edge is superb. I have inspected it. This is very curious. This one is going to go onto probably a natural edge on its next outing. It's not happy, but I'll tell you what is happy. This little Puma, tiny little one. Actually, let's put a test. Let's put a better test on. I'm going to use, now that I've run out of soap, I'm going to use the Tabac shave stick, which is an old favourite. Does work very, very well. We'll just smooth some of this on first. Sorry, I'm a bit disorganised today. I've been restoring yesterday and honing all morning. And quite honestly, on a bloody awful dull January day, I wish I was in Spain with my lovely friend out in Morocco. And I don't mean Hisham, I mean Alda. Oh, look at that for lather. Ooh, yeah. I highly recommend Tabac, the Tabac shave stick. German, very high quality, gives you a perfect lather without any effort at all. Look at that. Right. Let's go back, drying the fingers. Let's go back and try this little devil. As smooth as butter. Yep, that's lovely. No drag at all. Oh, I'm quite happy to do any direction with it. Yeah, that is really nice. Good old Puma steel. Can't be beaten. I've no idea what date it is. I suspect some of you experts out there will be able to tell me. It's a very small, delicate blade though. I don't like tiny blades. It's very, 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 very small. is. It's beautiful steel. A beautiful edge. Yep. But I wouldn't choose to shave normally with a razor this size. I can hardly feel it cutting it so good. Can't beat Puma steel. Because I'm using a slightly different mix of soaps today, because I've run out, what I'll do now is try another pass, final pass, with the Filly13, the Sello Oro, because I've got a suspicion. I do hope it's not bad steel. If it is, I will find a grade of stone to hone it with, which it will love. Because even though it might be the last of the Filly13s to be made, it's still, judging by the quality of the grind, it's a very high grade of razor. I mean, that is a very, very well made razor. So I'm slightly curious. Perhaps it just doesn't like a synthetic edge. Oh, I think it could be the soap. Sorry, Ariana and Evans, perhaps your soap's no good. Because actually, on the Tabac, look at that, it's cutting much better. Well, well, well. Surprise, surprise. Who would have thought? Shows how important a good lather is. I'm renowned for bad lathers. I have my reputation to think of, remember? My reputation being, he's a good engineer and he's about useless on aromas and brushes and scent and lather. I take it all back. No, it was the bloody soap. It was too thin. I can feel there is a slight resistance. There is still a slight drag. So I still think it needs trying on a different method. But normally, a Philharmonica cannot be beaten. In fact, you're not going to believe me. This one's actually getting better the more I shave with it. I'll try buffing in a minute as a last resort. A buffing pass, that is. Not buffing it on the machinery. Yeah, that's acceptable. Not quite as good as the Puma, which is surprising, but I did spend an awful lot of time today on the Puma. I got that about right. However, do you see a little treat? This is from Alan. This is an urn, and the urn 65, and the walled make the urn is a beautiful steel. It's probably it's at least as good as Puma. It might be better. It's one of the renowned German razors, as we all know. And the ERN, the urn, Friedrich Urn. Yeah, he was the one that virtually invented the deep hollow grind. So there's not a lot you can tell that company. It's also famous for its Crown and Sword brand. This has the little crown and sword very delicately stamped, as you can probably see. And these are very good razors. I'm going to just try a cross pass. This is the first time I've ever tried it, by the way. Wow. Oh, that's a cutter. Well, well, well. I think this is my third urn. I've never had a 65 before. This is a very pretty little razor. It's a generous 5/8. Oh my goodness me. Yeah, that's very good. And this one hadn't been tortured, warped, or in any way abused. So thank you, Alan. You do get some very nice razors, matey. This is one of them. I'm very glad I bought it. This is my second razor from him off eBay, and he does not disappoint. There are some wonderful people on eBay. He's one of them. Yeah, that's a superb shave. That is one of the best I've had. I was going to say this year, but we're only into January. Yeah, the soap, I ain't going to be using any more of that Ariana and Evans, or it's all gone now anyway. It was a sample from my very good friend, Jeff. A sample I can live without. I remember when we scooped it from its pot. Nice aroma, very strange colour. Very strange. However, what I can say, chaps, I'm not going to waste too much more of your time watching this nonsense. What I would say is German steel is very good steel. Bern is a fantastic maker of steel razors. Well, that's about BBS in most areas. I can't really concentrate when I'm making a video, but it's good. A lovely, delicate razor. I used to fight shy of 5/8. Usually a little bit on the fiddly side. But the little, very small 4/8 special trimming razor, this little Puma Stylist, it surprised me. Even though it had a slightly warped blade, I had to really carefully hone it. But it's a little belter. And, should you wish, it'll also trim your hair. Very, very well as it happens. You've got to get the angle about right. Try it this way around. Obviously it's going to be one way better than the other. But yeah. I think you call this a thinning groomer. But I can, you can't see it, I'm sorry. You can certainly hear it cutting, and it is cutting. And if it can cut my barbed wire stubble, it shouldn't have any problem cutting my top of hair, which it's doing. So, then you open it up, and it's back to being a razor again. Heard about that for unusual. Anyway, chaps, I hope you've enjoyed watching this. Thank you for watching my channel. I hope I'm being vaguely amusing. I'm always trying to find different ways around shaving with a straight razor. And I think I'm learning all the time from my very, very kind friends. Gary's just had a wonderful shave this morning with a razor I couldn't get on with, and he has worked the Gary magic on it, and he's had a good shave with it. And John Petter Oman, John, thank you. You're always advising me, quite rightly, on not to use the wrong type of slurry on a stone. So yeah, thanks guys. Anyway, let's just wash off. I was surprised that the first pass on the Filly13 wasn't quite what I expected it to be. But it's actually getting better, which doesn't make any sense at all. Anyway, here's the alum block. Tiny little bit of irritation on the chin. I suspect that was from the Filly13's initial swipe, so to speak. But basically, no problem at all. Always my usual reminder, if you're going to use an alum block, make sure you don't get it on your steel. If you do, you'll get a black blade, and it's very hard to get off. But there you go. That's me happy. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of Thursday. It's a horrible day here because I'm on the south coast of England and it's January. Anyway, how about that? I restored Filly13 Sello Oro, which is the very, very, very last of the Philharmonica razors made in the very early 1980s. And of course, the factory's gone now. Anyway, I'm very pleased with that. So thank you, Matthew. I hope you're pleased with the fact I've restored it. It was completely wrecked. The edge had chips you wouldn't believe. Oh dear, I don't know what happened there, but something bloody awful happened. Badly chipped, particularly on the nose of the razor. That was horrible. Took a long while to get them out. Anyway, there's the lovely little urn, which is a 5/8 German urn, and urn steel, very high grade. It's a crown and sword stamp. It's a number 65. And back to the this strange little creature. This actually is very good steel. It's Puma steel. It's a 4/8. It's really shaped very, very well, as well as giving me a strange trim with my hair. So there you have it. 3 razors tested, 3 razors brought back from the dead. Thank you for watching. For new members of my channel, I will be bringing more interesting stuff in the future. Happy sailings to harness. Don't go making any ships into razors yet, mate. You can buy them online, you know. Anyway, bye for now.